So 25. 25 is the most important number you're going to hear tonight. Does anyone want to venture a guess why 25? It's not my age. It's been a few decades. It is also Christmas Day, yes. But 25 is important. And it's important to every single person in this room. Because that's the number of days that are left in 2018. There are 25 days left to make this year the year you want it to be. Do you have friends who plan like January to November, I'm going to get everything done. And then in December, I'm party. I am not this person. Me, I need a bit more time. I'm usually working on this till about Christmas. And then I'm racing to get stuff done. But the things I want to get done, the way I prioritize the things that I want to get done, are a little different. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. So, this is the talk that I want to talk to you about. It's called Embrace the Crazy. I don't mean like King Joffrey kind of crazy that will, cause all kinds of different problems. It's a type of crazy that will help you make decisions with a little bit more trust in your gut, a little greater freedom, and possibly give you some wings. So my name is Lavinia. I chair Inspiring Girls, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Inspiring Girls in a moment. I also do many other things, and I'm going to talk to you about these as I go along. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is normal is highly overrated. I grew up in Singapore. I went to one of these schools. My parents put me in one of these primary schools, the kind that people queue up for. And then, in their great wisdom, they made me do Chinese as a second language. So 我讲华语讲得不错. And so, they forced me to do this. I am the sole Indian kid in this class, in this school that people are lining up to get into. Do you know what this is like? Oh, sorry, did you see the picture of my hair when it's down? This is my natural hair. This is what I look like without product. This is the new modern version of me. At 7, it didn't look like this. So I turned up to school. I'm the sole Indian kid in this class. My hair looks like this. Everyone else has shiny, straight hair. This is what I look like. So now I've embraced this. It's okay. But at 7, all I wanted to do was look like every other kid in the class. I wanted to be able to understand what the 老师 was saying. I didn't understand. I was catching up. I was constantly catching up. And all I wanted was normal. What normal looked like to me was what everyone else in my class looked like. And then somewhere along the way, I learned something. If you're always trying to be normal, you will never, ever know how amazing you can be. And in order to do that, you need to take some risks. And the craziest risk I ever took was a personal one. And my personal risk is my family. The guy I'm kissing is my husband. That was not the risk. These are our 5 children. 5. They don't look like each other. I have 3 stepchildren, 1 adopted child, and 1 biological child. Our children live in 4 countries on 3 continents. They range in age from 8 to 28. And at 38, I had no children. Not the one. I had a fancy car and a fancy apartment and a fancy job. And then I married this guy, and he had 4. And I was, full on, then there was homework and mess and, things everywhere. This was the biggest risk I ever took in my life. It was absolutely crazy. There was no good reason to do this except this was the absolute best decision I ever made. And it was, to be perfectly frank, the craziest. Earlier this year, I started this year with a job. I had a really cool job. I worked at NUS. I worked on the Bukitima campus, beautiful, in the middle of the Botanic Gardens. I look out, green, squirrels dance across my window, the odd chicken as I park my car. In Singapore, I had a really cool job. I was president of a women's group called Primetime Business and Professional Women's Association, and I'd been president for 3 years. Everyone knew me as the president of Primetime. And in one fell swoop, I stepped down as president of Primetime, and I resigned from my role. I did those things because in my heart, and in my soul, and in my gut, I heard a voice. And that voice says, "This is not for you. It's done now. You need to move on." And so I did. So what I'm doing now, this cool photo, I love this photo. This one is my favorite photo of all time. This happened about 2 weeks ago. And this is when I launched Inspiring Girls. What Inspiring Girls does is it brings schoolgirls, primary 5, primary 6, and all of secondary school, together with female role models in a speed mentoring format. So many girls still don't have access to successful women in their everyday lives. What we do is we bring them to them. So the girls, we get them together, and we cluster them in little groups. And then we invite female role models, and every 8 minutes we ring a bell, and the women move from one group to the next. And during those 8 minutes, the girls get to ask the women anything. Anything about their education, their family, their careers, anything. It's a charity that started in the UK in 2013, and it runs already in 8 countries. Singapore is the first country in Asia, and my job is to take it to all of ASEAN. It works really well because it opens eyes, and it opens possibilities before girls start making limiting choices in their careers. The fabulous program that Maya talked about, going out and talking to girls in school about STEM, sometimes by the time the intervention comes, the girls have already limited their choices. We want to make sure they're getting as wide an idea of what's possible, because half of them will have careers we don't know anything about yet. So they need to have an idea of what great things are possible for them, and they need to see the fabulous women that are doing it. Not just at the C-suite, but the ones who have been doing the job for 2 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. We even had a stay-at-home mom. She had a huge career in a bank, and she was taking time off. And we had her there as well, because the reality for women is that might happen. And we want the girls to see, and girls are ambitious at school for grades. They are not looking beyond to their careers. And that is the great thing that we wanted for girls with Inspiring Girls. And this is my good friend Joanne. Joanne and I decided last year, when we were both at Primetime, that, I was getting a lot of requests to speak at events, and I'm like, I can't do them all. But I want to benefit the women at Primetime. And so we started to create a list. And this is a directory of women speakers. Because we would try, have you been to a conference? Like, man, 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 woman. We were tired of that. We didn't want to complain about it, so we created a resource. The resource is called Keynote. It's a women speakers directory. It lists a huge number of women speakers in Asia. You have to qualify to be part of the directory. And we train women to become better speakers. Because if women really want to spread their ideas out into the world, if they want to change behavior and influence thought, they need to be able to better present their ideas. They need to be able to present their ideas in an influential way. And I'll tell you, this is not easy for women. Do you know why? I'll show you. I was just in Myanmar. I was at a women's conference, all senior women. one guy is speaking. The three women speak, chat, 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 chat in the audience. The guy speaks, dead silence in the room. We are programmed to listen to a lower tone. We are programmed socially to listen when men talk. Even women. And I saw it so clearly, and I see it over and over again. So if women want to be good at this, they need to get a lot better. So we decided we would write a book. My friend Joanne just stuck into the room. There she is. So we're writing a book. Book comes out next year for International Women's Day. And this is what I'm doing. I'm earning no money. Thankfully, this is not a problem at the moment. I will have to work this out. But this is what I'm doing now. I decided that this is crucial. So Inspiring Girls and the book is what I'm working on. You know how? The first, most important thing you need to do is to find your tribe. I know some people find the word tribe odd. I don't know, call it what you like. I call it a tribe. With the women on the left, I'm working on all kinds of gender policy in Singapore. Next year, we hope to finally be able to criminalize marital rape. Can you believe in Singapore, this is not a crime? And we have fought for this for over 10 years with the Minister of Law. It is finally going to happen. With the women here, with Zoe Tay, Claire Chiang, and June Goh, we're working on different policies to stop violence, gender-based violence, especially in homes. At SEWO, we run a shelter for abused women and their children. We have 30 beds. At any one time, we have 28 to 30 beds full. This is the number. And a lot of the women that come to us, they're the foreign wives of Singaporean men. They have no other resource. And so one of the things we're working on is how to give these women better rights. And the other secret to doing all of this is to keep your promises. And people keep their promises at work very easily. But they let it go. They don't keep their promises to their children. Have you ever noticed? I have 5 of them. I don't have a choice. Have you seen them? So with our children, we are very firm, very clear. When we make a promise, my husband is a diplomat. This means that many evenings we are not at home. Our children have learned that this is the reality of what we do. But when we promise, when I say I will be home, I will be home, no matter what else is happening. It goes in my diary just like it would if I was speaking. It is as firm a promise to my children as it is to Google, to anybody. If I say I'm going to take them to the playground, I take them to the playground. It is absolutely crucial. If you're going to live a life where you make decisions that you follow your instinct with, that you're going to indulge your crazy a little bit, you need to be able to keep your promises. Otherwise, that crazy will be a whole different kind of crazy. This is me today with my friends because I had promised to have lunch with them before I knew I was doing this. And I had no choice, even though, actually, I had a whole change of format this morning. And so I still had to make lunch because I made a promise. I don't reschedule. I never, ever reschedule on my husband. Ever. If it's a promise, it is there. And the last thing, the last thing is actually the one that took me the longest to learn. I keep the promises I make to myself. And every single day, I promised myself I would have time for myself. And I do that every single day. Because that is my promise to me, and I am important. If you are not important to you, how can anything else be important to you? You must be important to you. And the last thing I'd like to say is to take it one step at a time. Don't compare where you are to where someone else is because they're on a different journey. And their journey is at a different point. This is me just before I started school. I don't actually know what year this photo was taken. And I kind of had to go to school like that, like with the ponytails, because my hair was wild. And the teacher said, you have to do something, it's messy. So, for my entire childhood, I had those, just because the only way I could go to school. But between these two things, these two versions of me, that was over 40 years. And in that time, it was not smooth sailing. I've been divorced once. I've had friendships grow and decay. I have had love and I have had challenge. And every single person has it, whether you see it or not. Everyone is living all of these things. Everyone at some point sits in their pajamas with a tub of Haagen-Dazs. It's not just you. Everyone. This is what people see. If you Google me, I got it in. If you Google me, this is what you'll see. This is a load of rubbish. Yes, I have done all these things. I made it to the page. I made it on the newspaper in Pyongyang. Yeah, this one. Where is it? Yeah. This is in Pyongyang. When we arrived, we made the pages in the newspaper, and all of this is true. It is not that it didn't happen. This is the shiniest piece of the puzzle. That is all you are seeing. The shiny edge. It is bullshit. If you compare your life to everyone else's shiny edge, I guarantee you it will fall short. So don't. You're on a whole different journey. It's a different journey, and you need to give in to your own level of adventure, of joy, of love. These are all for you to define for yourself. So you need to find that path for yourself. And do you remember how many days you have to make this year count? How many days do you have? 25 days. What are you going to do with your 25 days? I am going to spend my 25 days with people I love. I'm going to work on those projects that energize me. I'm going to throw out anything toxic in my life. I'm deleting people off my social media. Yeah, best thing to do. Get rid of it. 25 days to do it, people. Get rid of it. If it's a toxin in your life, why the hell would you keep it till 2019? And if you've done good things this year, now's the time to celebrate it. Make a collage. Make a picture. This, your picture of your version of this. What bright, shiny things did you do this year? Make it. Make it your wall, your bright, shiny wall. And that's how you'll remember the year. And when you go into 2019, you'll go into it thinking, I am a champion. Have you seen my bright, shiny wall? And that's the way you keep your resolutions, because you start from a position of believing in yourself. Enjoy your 25 days. Thank you.